It's the thirstiest time of the year.
It's the thirstiest season of all.
Yo, with the profile picture too. It really sells it.
How you guys doing? Welcome
Back to the podcast ever.
The podcast ever.
Yeah.
It's a new year, even though we still have how many episodes left before we hit this one in 2024? We got like one episode coming out again. We already had one this week. Well, the week that we're talking about.
No, yeah, one more.
So this is 3 weeks into 2024 for you guys, but it's 1 week in for us. This is like the first Sunday of 2024. Okay, we've come back from not really any sort of real break, but we've come back from the Christmas season, and we are ready to engage with you guys.
We had a decent excursion recently. That was kind of cool.
We did have a decent excursion with a friend of mine. It was nice. We got properly lit. I mean, a little too much. So some people there. I don't know. I mean, that's all I'm gonna say.
Listen,
you want to tell that story though? It's kind of interesting.
What, like how I got kicked out?
Yeah, that's good content right there.
I guess so. All right, let me paint a picture for you people. It was a last minute decision that we went on this excursion, and we went to our usual place. I won't say too much just in case we have someone from there later on. But anyway, we go to our usual place, and we're talking to the bartender, just chilling because it was like cold outside, and this is like a sort of outdoor kind of area. So people aren't
short sleeve shirts. Like I actually had a hoodie on, but you two were wearing short sleeves, and you're like, really? You're going to wear a hoodie into the bar? And I'm like, yeah, I guess you got a point.
I mean, no, yeah. I don't think I did see too many people wearing hoodies, actually. So I think I was in the right. Hoodies or jackets or anything like that. The women were still dressed like it was like summer, so it's like, shit.
I just wanted to point that out before you went ahead.
I mean, the short sleeve shirts show off the gains.
Exactly. And I didn't want to discount mine, so I was kind of like, well, I kind of have to, so.
Yeah, because then, like, if you go into a club with a long sleeve on, it's like, unless you're like in like a suit or something where it kind of like molds into your body or whatever, or fits your body, I should say, then it's kind of like, well, what are you hiding?
True. And the hoodie, it makes it seem like you're a little bit bigger than you are too. Not in a good way. Not in the good way.
It really does. But yeah, so we walked in with short sleeve shirts, and we're talking to the bartender, and this particular bar/club, late night entertainment facility, we'll call it that. They have a happy hour, so at a certain time they stop serving for free drinks, but up until that time, within a certain limit, you can get free drinks. And we're talking to the bartender, and we're having like a conversation for like a good, like a good 2 hours actually, right?
It was somewhere around there. I mean, we stick around because he keeps serving up. He keeps pouring.
Yeah, that's actually what I was getting to. Since we're like right by the bartender, every now and then you'll like go help somebody else, but it wasn't really busy yet. So it was just us, and the bartender there. And every time we'd have an empty cup, he'd just start filling it up again, which is great in the short term. But in the long term, it kind of screwed me up. Actually, no. I think. Well, but anyways, we had a ton of drinks up until the point where they stopped.
On. Let me tell you though, as far as the him serving up, this was literally us sitting down or standing up. Some of us were sitting, some standing, alternating a little bit. We would be talking mid-conversation. You would put the cup back down in front of him. It was empty. He would acknowledge that without even looking down and pour you a new drink, exactly what you were drinking before.
Yeah, I mean, he works for the tips, and he definitely deserves them.
I gave him a 20. And we didn't pay for drinks. I mean, actually, what my friend did for us, like a round.
I paid for that beer.
You had a beer? Oh, yeah, you did. Shit, man. Why would you have that?
I don't know if we brought this up on the podcast before, but that one night when I got in debt with my buddy for going out clubbing, I had a Corona, and I thought maybe, okay, this can't just be me being a little too lit. This has to be like some actual enjoyment in this. So I had a Corona because it was cheap and the club was overpriced, so I wasn't going to pay $20 for another drink. But anyway, I got a Corona and I was like, oh, this doesn't suck actually. So I figured, okay, let me get a Corona again because it's cheap. The free drinks are over. We're getting ready to move on. A nice little token where I can give our favorite bartender a tip because I don't have cash. So I got a Corona. And as soon as I took a sip of it, I realized I had made a horrible mistake because that tasted like shit.
Man, I mean, I've tried it, and honestly, there was one night I remember. This was a while back. This was like, well, it was last year, but it was like earlier in the year, and I remember I had like probably I think like maybe 5 or 6 in one night, which is not good at all for you. It's terrible. But anyway, point being, I did it.
5 or 6.
Yeah, yeah, I remember doing it, and I mean, it got me up. It's just it's beer. I mean, it's not good.
I mean, it's not good for you, and it also just doesn't taste great.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, to give you context, I was having vodka Sprites the entire night pretty much, and like every now and then I'd switch up to one of the other guys' drinks, and then I had a beer. So it was kind of like a bat to the face in terms of flavor. That was hard to get down, and I had to finish it too because you can't leave with the alcohol, obviously.
Right.
And then like I paid for it too, so I'm not gonna not finish it. I paid for it. So I was
Great
sitting
logic.
there, and you guys were like ready to leave too. So you're like, yeah, let's hurry up and go, bro. He's trying to get to the next place, and I'm like sitting here like struggling, pretty late by that time, by the way, struggling to finish that beer. And my God, that was. Don't ever let me get a beer again. But anyway, we move on after the happy hour ends, say our goodbyes to our favorite bartender, and move on to what I would describe as probably the most popular location in that little strip of places, right?
Yeah, it's pretty well. I know it. I think everybody knows it by name, at least.
Yeah, because I mean, whenever we do
been
something,
there before. I had never been there before.
I hadn't either. I'd been to the place like, yeah, you were there, Rofus, when we went to the place like right next to it or across the street from it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'd never been into that place. It's not bad, but I think it's maybe a little overrated.
I felt that way. Yeah. It honestly, it feels like something like from up north of here.
Like
not too far
in the
US. I
US.
just mean like upstate.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, is that what it's like there?
I would. Well, it's similar. I would say, depending on where you go. Which I know we're not giving a lot of context for where that is, but anyway, I mean, generally we're talking about college areas, and this one would be, I guess, similar to the bar we went to or club. Like it's generally like that vibe, but honestly, I think it might be a little bit better depending on where you go.
I heard so many great things about the Great Northern Upper State area.
It's not that it's all like that. I'm just saying there are some places that kind of like it gives me that same vibe. It feels like it would be better. It feels like it would fit better as a place up there. Not that every place is like that.
Okay. Because it's not a bad place. It's just like, it's kind of lacking in some areas.
So anyway, point being, we got a green tea shot. You asked for a green tea shot.
Yeah. I thought we got there and then we found the bar to like maintain our position basically. And it was actually pretty packed in there from what I remember. Which
yeah, sort of.
It's not a lot, but so we get there, and I remember ordering another of my signature drinks, a vodka Sprite. Down that, and then I think your buddy, he wanted to go to the bathroom or something like that, or whatever.
Yeah, I was worried about him at this point, honestly.
he was gone like silent for a bit.
Honestly, let me tell you, first thing he drank of the night was a Four Loko in its entirety. Before even doing the happy hour, before even doing like the tequila shot that he bought, drank a full Four Loko. And here he was.
That was tequila?
Huh? Yeah. Well, no, wasn't it? It was.
I thought it was vodka.
Patron.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yeah, he bought shots of Patron.
I hate tequila. But yeah.
And what was funny is like, you were like, dude, I don't think I could down it. And he's like, but you got your chaser. And he like points at your like mixed drink.
Yeah,
dude,
I think that was the drink that I got, where I got a different thing too, like the rum and pineapple juice or whatever.
Oh yeah, it was like rum and pineapple juice.
Yeah, and that rum was strong as fuck already. So
Yeah,
it wasn't really a chaser. It was just more of the same thing, basically.
dude. As soon as that shot went down, I downed mine, like my rum pineapple, and dude, I just felt worse. I mean, it was a little bit better because of the pineapple, but I was like, dude, this is not helping. I think I might be closer to like evacuating my esophagus and stomach.
Yo, it's not even like the alcohol. Well, I mean, it is the alcohol, but the flavor, man,
Right.
it's so brutal for
So
no.
rough.
Well, there's a reason, but Jesus. Anyway, before he goes off to the bathroom in this new place, I see a big lit up like TV screen saying, I don't even remember the price, but it was like a decent price for green tea shots, especially considering the place we came from.
It must have been like some $5-6 or something, maybe a little bit less, maybe like $3.
Like
I think that might have been
$3.
the deal. I think that might have been the deal.
$3.
I think it was like 7 for 2.
Yeah, it was something like that. And then I remember when we were at the other place with our favorite bartender, we asked him, "Hey, how much are the green tea shots?" Because we saw him pouring like 12 or something like that for some people, women, of course. And he was like, "Oh yeah, they're like 10 a piece," and we're like, "What?"
Yeah, he was saying they were spending like over $100 on that.
Yeah, one shot? Like Jesus. Yeah. But anyway,
least, I mean, look, I've noticed that like that happens with like green tea shots. It's like these sweet shots, like the lemon drop too. Have you noticed that? Like they're so expensive.
How much were the lemon drop when we went to that one place? I thought they were cheap.
Don't remember, but I went to another place in another city that I bought some from, and I think one was like $6.
Okay, that's not horrible, but
it might have been a little bit more. But
bad.
Also, one in the city, you know, the other one that we usually hang out in, up a little bit north, there's a place where I think they're like it's the pub we talk about. It's like $6 there, I think. 2. Like no, I didn't mean like as well. Like it's not like, you know, 2 of them. I just mean like I think one as well is like $6. I think that's like almost a standard price, like $6 around there. Damn. Maybe like 7.
That's insane. When I was
in the lemon drop, you know, I had a friend. We talked about him before. It's the I don't know if we mentioned him that much. It's the guy that sounds like bro, you know, that guy. I don't know how much we talked about him, but he said that he really likes the lemon drop. I'm just thinking like, but you're not really getting much out of it. You know, you're getting flavor, but you're not really getting much out of it as far as litness. The litness to flavor ratio is off.
Yeah. I mean, I swore off shots for a while. I never order shots until somebody like offers shots, unfortunately. So,
dude, you want to? Well, have we talked about not the whiskey one, because I feel like we did talk about the whiskey one, right? But did we talk about the other ones before, like the ones that were like the Fireball and all that? I don't know if we did, but how about you just continue on the story, because I feel like we're getting a little bit off this.
So I see a big like lit up TV sign saying something like 2 for 3 or something, green tea shot, something like that, like a deal. And I'm like, yo, bro, we got to get that. And you order it for us. And I think your buddy, he like clocked
dude,
out
I asked him, and he's like, I'm like, you want one? He's like, no, man, I don't want one, man. No. I'm like, you sure? He's like, no, man, I'm good, man. I'm good. And after the fact, he literally told me like several times, it's like, yeah, my body probably just went on autopilot and knew that it did not need anything else in it at that point. Because he has no recollection of this. No recollection. And honestly, we're going to get to a point in the story where it's going to be funny, you know, how much he got to that point.
Oh, wait. Okay, you're gonna have to tell that, because I don't know. No, I don't remember what happened after that.
It's just I will include it after, like while you're talking. If I see a point where I need to include it, I'll kind of put it in for context.
All right. So anyways, we get these green tea shots, and I think those combined with the first drink I bought there, or where I kind of crossed a line that I shouldn't have. That and the beer. Yeah, the beer is definitely a line, no matter what happened. But anyway, after that, I think we all decided to go to the bathroom, right? Because we hadn't gone to the bathroom really at all for a bit. Went like
individually at the other place.
Yeah. So we all went for some, I guess, because
I didn't go at that one, like the second place.
You were babysitting him at that point, basically, because he would just like walk off and we'd have no idea where he was. Over there. Yeah, so I don't even remember this, but I do vaguely remember you like holding me up like a wounded soldier, like the I don't even know what you call that carry, where you like put your arm over his back and shit like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I go to the bathroom like that, and
Well, look. To be
I
clear, I did let go for you to go to the urinal and
Yeah,
stood
yeah,
by
yeah.
until you're done.
I remember there was like some guy that was asking, dude, how bad you have to go, bro? And he
Yeah.
asked me, and I don't even remember what I said, but he's like, yeah,
No,
you're
I
good,
told
bro.
him, I'm like, he has to go. Because I was not trying to play any games with that. Because he could tell how up you were. So he's like, okay, I respect it, you know?
Yeah. So then because your buddy went too,
But
so
we lost
you
him at
let
this
me
point.
go, and then I walked out.
We lost him when he went. Because like I was with
You-
you helping you out, and like him, I thought he was still in there, and I texted him like, you know, I swear we had this whole like message chain where I'm like, you good? And he's like, you good? And I'm like, bro, where you at? He's like, where you at? And it's like, I'm like, what the hell is going on? And he's just sending me random messages about stuff. He's like, I want to go next place or something like that. Like
He said it like that. He didn't even use like
well,
the full sentence.
I don't know. I could pull it up honestly while you tell the story. I could let's see. Keep telling it, and I'll see what I can find here.
Yeah. So after I finish going to the bathroom, I'm waiting for them to come out, and then he comes out. Our second co-host here. And I guess he's doing the whole like carried me over because I guess he sees that I'm like wobbling a bit, and some like ethnic bodyguard or not bodyguard security guy's like, yo, bro, he's got to go. So I didn't think I was that bad, to be honest. I think it was the fact that you're like doing the whole carry thing. I probably could have like stood up pretty well. Just it would have been a little wobbly.
I think,
but anyway,
been able to tell a little bit.
Well,
not just.
I mean, you would have been.
I don't know.
You would have been a better judge anyway.
The other guy was straight up fine for some reason. Like he was able to just walk out of the bathroom, go sit down somewhere, and just start like going on his phone. He sent me a video of himself just chilling, and so I'm like to the security guard, I'm like, I got another guy. Where is this guy? And he just like points over. He's like, oh, he's probably over there because based on the lights in the video he sent you. And then I found him, and like I go over. He's like, I want to go next place. I want like when we go. Let's see if I can find the. Hold on, we got like a shit ton of memes that we're sending here. I don't remember. Oh, I might have gone too far. Let's see what we got. Should have been a longer message chain. Let's see. I sent him quite a few memes. Yeah, this is the problem with reels. Like you send a bunch of reels back and forth. Oh, dude, I found him. Okay. He sent me yo, and I said, what's up? You in the bathroom? We're outside. And then I audio called. He didn't answer. And then he said, can't talk right now, comma. I'll call you back, exclamation point. And then I tried calling, and I tried calling again. And he's just like, yo. And I'm like, you good? And he's like, yup. And I'm like, what's up in the bathroom? And he's like, show me the thrip plub.
He spelled it like that with a lisp.
It's THRIPPLUP. And I said, where are you? And then there's just a bunch of audio calls from him. And I tried calling him back and he didn't answer. And then at the end of it, he's just like, yo. That's it.
Yo.
I mean, for context, when he said Trip Club, this guy was asking to go to the strip club. That's what he wanted.
What is with that? Every time you bring one of your buddies down, that's what they want to do.
Look, they want the experience, man. They want the, like, you know, it's kind of got like an exotic, you know, feel to the idea. And so like it makes them want it. It makes them like, you know, it's novel. It's like new. It's not just the club, man. It's, you know, it's a layer up from that. It's like a level up.
All right. Okay. Anyway, so you say that you're like, oh, I got to get this other guy. So I'm sitting on the stairs waiting for you guys. And then we're walking back to our chosen vehicle of the night. I don't know why I said that. Well, no, I'll leave it like that actually. But anyway, and I remember, you're gonna have to fill in the blanks here because I don't remember. As we're walking over there, we run into some like Latins. Yeah,
I'm not completely sure. They seemed like some sort of ethnicity that has like predominantly white in it. But it could have been.
I thought I recalled somebody mentioning Puerto Rico at one point.
There was no Spanish exchanged. I don't remember that. Well, I know, maybe they asked if I knew Spanish and I said yes. Maybe.
Yeah, I swore that you said something like that.
Possibly. I think you said something about it back to them. And I think I did too. I think we just kind of like talked about like, oh, like, yeah. I think I did mention that actually. Yeah, now that I think about
Yeah.
it. But
How do
didn't
I
really
remember
speak
this more
we
than
didn't
you?
speak anything. We didn't speak anything. Well, I'm trying to remember the details here on that because like I wasn't really paying attention to that part. I paid attention to the part like where we were like exchanging like car stuff, like we were talking about car stuff. Yeah, we were just showing off. Like this guy was like, "Oh, cool, you have this car." Like he saw it when he like was checking out my social media. I'm like, "Yeah, I do. Let's come over here. Let's check it out." You know.
Huh. How long was that exchange? It seemed really long.
No, it was like 5 minutes. If that,
Damn.
if that, it was like a casual conversation for a couple minutes. Walk to the car, check it out, and then they leave.
Well, I guess it was a good thing I got kicked out
It
then.
was not really long, but my boy told us he's like from point A to point B after that. I think it was after that first one. Not even point B was not even the second place. Like he's just like from this point to this point. I didn't remember anything. That's what he told us.
After we left the first place,
Yeah,
up until we got to the final. Well, that's not the final destination, but
No.
penultimate destination.
Right.
I don't know.
He was like, I
That's up
didn't
to you.
remember anything. He just like went out of consciousness. He lost his consciousness
And the weird thing is,
while
he
still being
did not
awake.
seem like it at all.
while still being awake. That's the crazy part.
Like he was just like operating like any other normal. Well, until we were like walking towards the vehicle.
Yeah.
Then he was like kind of like walking around and like tripping and shit like that.
You know, it's interesting. Like, dude, like really blacked out and got back in without throwing up, without passing out, any of that. He really just went in and out.
He went through like a whole 2-day recovery in like 20 minutes.
Dude, for real. I mean, like he became completely sober, like after the fact. Like, I'm serious.
That's insane. I mean,
Dude is
you want to go on
machine.
and talk about after that? Because that's up to you.
Well, I don't really think there's much after that, is there?
I can't remember.
He fell in love that night with a woman named Candy. That's about it.
You know,
that's the story.
When you left to take that like phone call when you were at the eating establishment, I think I'm being like possibly vague about everything. That's a chain too, so I don't even really need to be vague about it. But anyway,
yeah, we love it. We love that place that serves our nice breakfast foods.
So it's reliable.
And
but
it's
anyway,
open all
as
the
you
time.
like, you can't go
Almost.
wrong really. But you went to take that call outside, and as you left, he was telling me about how he fell in love with her. He's like, I'm trying to find her Instagram, bro. And I'm like, do you have anything to go off of? And he's like, no, not really, but
He asked you if you had anything to go off of.
What?
He asked you if you had anything.
No, I
to
asked
go off
him.
Of? Oh,
I was like,
he was
oh,
asking
so
you
you
for
get
the
like her number or
information.
something? Like, what's going on? Do you know her real name, or is that her real name? What's going on? And he's like, no, I don't know. I don't know anything actually. So
unfortunately, I don't want to like say too much about him and his experiences, but this is not the first time this has happened. This exact situation. I'm just saying.
The alcohol or the
no, the falling in love with an exotic woman. Now, I mean dancer. Well, technically both exotic woman and dancer, but this was about now 2 years ago, around there, a little bit over 2 years ago. Exact same thing, but with an Asian, and all he got was her OnlyFans. A true story.
She didn't even give him a discount or anything.
I think she gave him a card to come back and get 10% off. At the establishment, not on the OnlyFans.
Yeah. I mean, at that point, which one is even better?
Oh, like which activity is better to partake in and be still like a more respectable choice as the woman that you would keep in your life? I would say stripper, but like if we're saying both quit, stripper. Better to have been an ex-stripper than an ex-OnlyFans girl.
No, yeah, that's true. Yeah, probably.
Yeah, I think it's just more depraved to be the OnlyFans one. Even though the other one you are like, grinding up on men and all that, I still think it's not as bad. It's really not. As putting yourself on the internet naked for $25 a month. I mean, at least the strippers, they're look, it's not to say like, oh, you make your money, girl, but they're getting more money for less of a service sexually. You know, they're showing off their body, but not completely in every case. Some cases, yes, but they don't, you know, they're still charging more to even see that like in person. You don't get to keep it either. You don't get a screenshot and keep it on your computer. And you never really, like, if they don't post about this on social media, if there's none of that, you can clean this girl up fine. And you'll have a fine life probably. But the OnlyFans girl, you know, that stays with her.
Yeah, like even if you find a way to get rid of all the content, there'd still be like some people like, oh yeah, I used to watch her doing X, Y, and Z.
And that is way more shameful. that brings upon you by extension.
You bring shame upon your family.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that is, you know, that is the profession, as we would call it, I suppose, that would bring that more.
I mean, you could simplify it by basically, it's weird too, because I hear a lot of people say this, like, well, I'm not a porn star, I'm an OnlyFans model. And it's like,
they're the same thing.
What's the difference? Well, what?
And that's
the only difference is you don't have like a team behind you, really. And even then, that's not guaranteed. So,
and whether you're doing solo stuff or with a partner or whatever, and you're probably doing stuff with a partner if you want more money anyway. But
yeah, that gets more money for some reason.
It's, the thing is, because it's just like porn. It's just like regular porn. And so, but it's paid. But the thing is here is that, you're right. The thing is here is that you're not really distinct from that category by being an OnlyFans girl. So it's almost like just the old question, like an older question of, would you rather date a porn star or a stripper? Like, it's that easy.
Yeah. Yeah. That's what I was getting at too. So like the stripper is the better option in that case.
Yeah.
Because like there's still the stigma of especially in like bigger cities, if you're a stripper, you offer other services for a extra charge, but that's not always a guarantee.
There are girls that will refuse to do that sort of thing. Like they'll just say, I don't do that. And those are the ones that you can tell which ones are which, like by their personalities.
Yeah.
Generally speaking, you can.
General chicken egg roll?
It comes with egg roll. It comes with egg roll on the side. when you're ordering Asian food from a gentrified neighborhood. Oh, it
comes with egg roll.
Can I get orange chicken with a egg roll? It comes with egg roll. Thank you. That'll be $8.99.
You see the British one?
No, I have not seen the British one.
The same shit, but like more verbose and in a British accent.
Oh, mate, it comes with a bloody egg roll.
No, it's more like I think it was like specifically like 18th century British. So you got like classical music in the background and everything.
Dude, this fat chick liked me on Bumble.
Yo.
I was just checking it. I saw I got a like, and I'm like, let me see this. No, it's an obese chick. It's left.
Now, obese or overweight?
Nah, she's like obese.
Oh.
How do you draw that line?
There is like a medical line. I think to be obese, you have to be 30 pounds overweight.
Yeah, but the weight thing isn't necessarily, I mean, well, I guess it's more for guys, especially just because guys can have muscle more so than women. But I mean, even then, like, the proportions on women who weigh the same may be a little bit different,
I think the line can be drawn because like a lot of women that, describe themselves as like curvy or thick, they're probably overweight, but they're not obese, and you can usually tell.
Right.
So usually, if their hormones are right and everything, the fat redistributes itself in like the areas that are, the female areas. So
but they're so not generally. Their hormones are generally not right.
Yeah, no, not really. But damn, like
seed oils. Ruining the bitches for us. Come on, man.
If she has a figure instead of not having a figure, I would usually consider that to be where you could draw the line between overweight and obese.
So as long as she doesn't look like a potato, like the stomach has not filled it in too much to the point where you can't even tell she's curvy, like not curvy in the sense that like, the fat bitch is claiming to be curvy, but like actually having curves.
Yeah.
I see. But
she doesn't waddle.
What if she is a little bit like overweight, but you still see the curves, like I think there's a distinction because there's some girls where like the proportions are crazy, dude. Like they will, and it's not even fake. Like it's like some of them they just have like so much, like they have so much fat on them, but it like goes exactly to the places where it normally would for that kind of girl. But it gets like big, you know. They have like these big thighs and butts and all that.
Ooh, like with the stretch marks and everything.
Well, maybe I don't know. You know, I assume it would happen.
Hmm. I guess. I mean, I feel like you would be able to tell by just how out of proportion it is,
Yeah,
and even then, like you'd probably assume it was fake anyway. So,
I see.
and I don't
Now,
do that.
now we went over our story. Now we had to talk because this is our first episode of the new year. We have to get to our resolutions, man. We have to talk about them. We have to know what our goals are for the year, what we're going to do. You know, what is your aim? What is your purpose this year?
Oh, we're
Are
getting
you going to
Nietzsche in
be a
here.
new you?
Yes. My New Year's resolution is. Wait, does that have to be like one thing, or can it be like just a bunch
No,
of
you can have a
things?
bunch.
Okay. Uh, well, one is to get a certain guest on the show. Another is to never drink a Corona again,
And that's it.
or I guess just beer in general. Yeah.
Okay. You know, I would also like to get some more notoriety on the internet, do some more work on that. Got some like personal project stuff I'm working on that I would just generally put as like one big sort of this is the resolution. Just like get better at working like consistently on that kind of stuff.
Do my
Uh
work.
huh?
Do my work.
Yeah. And then, you know, look, I may sign up for a gym membership in January so that I can laugh at all the fatties that won't be there next month.
No,
That may be one of them.
like our one buddy who said he goes to Planet Fitness to do that.
Who said that?
Oh shit! Hold on, I'll type it in the
All
chat.
right. I don't remember. Oh yeah, he did
Yeah.
say that, didn't he? Okay. Well, see, I may do that. I may go to Planet Fitness and I may just start laughing at him. Put like one of those lawn
No.
chairs out.
If you're gonna pay for a gym, you might as well go to a place where it's like,
I can actually use it once I'm done laughing at him.
yeah,
Yeah,
like
I don't want
because
to
the
do
gym I
Planet
go
Fitness.
to, doesn't even matter if I mention where it is because it's a chain.
It is a chain.
Yeah, whatever. I go to the Crunch gym, and I mean, there are like fat people there that are trying to get in shape and all that, but they're definitely the minority. Actually, we brought this up before because you were talking about, yo, that girl, she's got the
Dude,
perfect
dude.
proportions.
Oh my god, for real. Well, see, I might be this might be the version of what my friend has with these exotic dancers with me with a random gym girl that I'll never meet again.
See, the difference is I go to the gym all the time, so I technically always meet them again.
Yeah. Well, have you seen her again?
The one you're talking about,
Yeah.
I don't remember what she looks like, to be
I may
honest.
need to get a gym membership there.
My gym specifically.
Yeah. Well, you know, that's the point, right? You know, that's who I'm looking for. But hold on. I do have a couple more resolutions I wanted to share. So, you know, it's the floor is still mine, okay? Get as drunk as possible without getting hungover. Now that happened already. I think I already beat that before the new year. So I think I can already check that off the list, honestly.
Did that happen just this recently time?
Honestly, both things kind of happened. I did get pretty up and I didn't get any effects after. So I think that's one. I think that's one for the books.
I've got to add that to my list too. I've been trying to do
Now,
that. Not
subsequently,
very successfully.
from the getting drunk as possible and without getting hungover, avoid calling women from my past while insanely sauced.
This happens?
Well, no. Well, I'm just saying, you know, I need to avoid that. Don't let that happen. Because
Yeah, but
you
that
never
kind of
know.
implies like it's happened
You never
before.
know what happens when you get up. Now this last one, I just wrote handy. I can't remember exactly what that one was.
Yeah. You trying to pay extra at the club?
Well, look, I'm just saying, you know, whatever happens, happens, man. It's, you know, it's the same principle as the one right before. I mean, it's like you want it to happen. It doesn't really matter if it's happened before. You don't know the exact scenario in which it will happen. You kind of gotta figure it out as you go.
Take it day by day, I guess.
We could work it night by night.
Is
You're
that a
not familiar?
reference? I'm
Chromeo,
no.
night by night.
What?
She says, you know how it goes? Hold on. Let's see. Let's look at Chromeo. You never heard this song? It's like a Daft Punk almost kind of song.
It is?
It's like, we could work it night by night. It's not Daft
Yeah,
Punk, but you don't know about it? Hold on.
It could be that I've heard it and just.
It's like,
don't
she says
remember
I'm
the
not
lyrics.
romantic. She says, or I say she's too dramatic. I tell her while we're at it, we could work it night by night. You know?
Nope.
Okay, well, we'll move on.
It sounds like a Black Eyed Peas song though.
It honestly, it kind of is similar to that, but also similar to like something Daft Punk would make. It's kind of like in that mid range.
Work into it, make it better.
Yes.
Hmm.
Nah,
All right.
don't kill me. Can only makes us stronger. I need you to hurry up now because I can't wait much longer.
It's a good sample. I'll give him that.
Look, Kanye would do anything for a blonde.
Can we say that?
You might have to censor that one. You censor the word after blonde if you need to.
Yeah, I'll put one of those TV censor sounds.
You can just
on
remove the sound of it. You can just chop the sound out, and you know it matches the exact censored song. Because he just goes, "I'd do anything for a blonde," in the censored version.
Oh, yeah, that's right. That is the same song. Wait,
Yes.
really? He would?
Well, I don't know. Now his new wife, she has dyed her hair blonde, and it has been shorter. And he did date Amber Rose, who has short hair and is blonde technically, dyed.
Who's Amber Rose again?
The one that put her finger in his ass. Allegedly. Allegedly. According to her. He never admitted to this. Allegedly. That was after they split up. So obviously she'd have some sort of investment in saying something maybe untruthful about him or something that, you know, necessarily isn't best of faith to just say like that. I don't know. I don't know the story, okay? I'm not Kanye.
Holy. Wow, you can't just drop that on me like that.
Well, anyway. You got something else?
You know, I was gonna say I can't really. Nah, I can't talk about that. Or well, I guess I could. Because I just don't have to say the word. That reminds me of that one clip you sent of shit. Can I say his name? I guess I can. Whatever. It was a clip of Fuentes taken out of context where he's like, "You drop it up, like throw it back on a."
Yeah. Throw it back on a fella. You're here.
I was at the gym today.
For me.
I was at the gym today, and it was one of those times where I got to every now and then you go too hard without enough food in the belly, and you're like, shit, I'm about to pass out. And that kept me going, just thinking of that video, because it was so
that
funny.
is definitely not going to be good for you to do. But you know, if it helped you through, you know, there you go.
What, the video or the
no working out when you're hungry?
Listen, I got up really late today because for whatever reason I could not go to sleep until like 7 a.m. So therefore, in order for me to get enough sleep to make up for the workout I did the day prior, I had to sleep until around 1 or 2. One of those.
Okay. Well, all I'm saying is you may want to have a bit of a snack so you're not completely empty bellied.
Oh, I did. I had some pineapple, a spoonful of honey, and like a quarter of a glass of cream and milk.
Okay, that's better than nothing. That is better than nothing. Way better than nothing.
Well, yeah, that was bad. It was I've been experimenting actually with doing a full body workout every day.
Every day?
Yeah, instead of splitting it up.
Why is this?
I was watching a podcast where they had like some gym expert on it. And I mean, this kind of touches on our one buddy that is forever gone now because he deleted all of his accounts on everything. Where he was talking about basically, he said, the guy that we know said something along the lines of it's best to only work out once a week, but do a full body workout for like an hour. And that's all you really need. And then this other guy that I saw on this podcast, he was saying something along the lines of there's really no reason to split up your muscles like that because they recover just fine anyway. And the only reason people started doing that was in the 50s when you had bodybuilders taking gear and stuff like
Mhm.
that.
But what about the
So
48
before
hours?
that wasn't a thing. Sorry?
What about the 48-hour rule where you're supposed to let your muscles recover for that long?
I don't know. I don't do it.
I thought you were supposed to let each muscle group like give it like a 48-hour period before you start working it again, or else it
I
wouldn't
only heard
recover
that for
properly.
legs. I never heard that for
Interesting.
like upper body.
Well, see, the thing is, you're just hitting different muscle groups if you're doing upper body. If you split it, like push and pull, or if you do
Right.
your split, like you're still splitting the muscle groups themselves. So you're not working out each individual muscle every day. Now, I think there is something to say about the splits. Like maybe there is, like honestly, I haven't been doing like necessarily push pull legs anymore, 6 days a week. What I've been doing now, because I think 6 days is excessive to actually train like 6 days a week, like intensely.
Yeah.
I think I've been doing closer to 4 days where I do upper body and then legs, and for 2 days. Like I do upper body one day, legs one day, break, upper body, legs, break. I mean, I would do 2 breaks after the second one for the weekend. But the point being is like,
Right.
well, actually, let's see. No, I do.
So you're taking like Wednesday off if you start on Monday.
Right. So I'm doing, yeah. No, so I am I'm doing Monday, Tuesday, skip Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. I don't think I split it like that though. I'm trying to remember how I split it. I think I stopped doing Monday and started doing Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday, Saturday. That's how I've really been doing it recently. Like Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday, Saturday. Though I could just switch it to Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday. That's pretty simple.
Whichever's easier, I guess.
Yeah. Well, for me, it's just like I don't know what it is. I kind of just split it like that. But I think like combining the upper body workouts has actually been proven, honestly, to me more beneficial. As long as I'm actually going through them properly, like the exercises that I'm choosing, and incorporating things that are like more intensive but for less time, but not too hard. Like not like I think like pull-ups and push-ups would be something that is like more intensive, less time, and also proves to be not too intense because you're just using your body weight.
Right. I guess, yeah, you are using your body weight for pull-ups.
Yeah. I mean, like for legs, I'm doing well, I am using weights in general for all parts of the body. It's just those two, I would say, like I have incorporated. So I'm not just purely doing weights on the upper body. Legs, I'm mostly doing, I mean, aside from the cardio by just walking a lot, I am doing like more intense, like I'm doing kind of like high intensity training, like when it comes to legs.
Yeah, the same guy was saying that high intensity training for like one whole day, like, you know, your typical leg day, where you have like, I don't know, like between 5 and like 10 exercises for a whole day of like high intensity leg workout. That's not ideal because of the way the legs work. And, you know, like you're using them all the time. So then you get absolutely destroyed the next day.
Yeah.
Or
I'm
it's
not doing
better to
5 to
mix
10
that in.
workouts.
Huh?
Sorry. I mean, I'm just saying I'm not doing 5 to 10 workouts. When it comes to legs, if anything, I'm doing like 3 or 4.
Really? That's it?
Yeah. I don't think there's more that you need than that.
I was doing like 6, really. 6 or
I don't
7.
think, I don't think 6 is necessary at once. I think like maybe like 4 or 5. Like 4 or 5 is like pretty much where I'd want to cap it off on legs specifically too. Like upper body, if I'm doing a split, I may do like 5 or 6. But honestly, I mean, like I think more than that, you're just killing yourself. Or
yeah, he brought up that same point.
I guess that's kind of a censored thing, even though we're just saying like, you know, defeating yourself, I should say.
Can we not say the phrase?
You're supposed to. Well, I think you can say it like, you know, maybe once.
I thought you just couldn't say the term.
Oh, like towards somebody, like do it, like, or you just mean like the expression is okay.
No, the S word.
Huh? No, I'm talking about you know, the self deletion. Oh, you're talking about that. Oh, I see. I understood what you meant by the S word. Yeah, maybe that's the one that you're not supposed to say like outright. I think that might be the worst one. I'm just thinking like maybe the you know, the self deleting yourself that I mentioned earlier, maybe a problem for YouTube's like profanity or whatever it is, the censors on there, like the sensitive topics. It may be an issue for that.
45 minutes in, we're probably good.
It's probably okay. I think you might need to remove the slur used earlier, maybe, and that might be.
Is it a slur though? Is it really?
Well, it's not, but you know,
because like nobody actually treats it like one.
Yeah, well, I don't know. I'd say I think there are. I think there's a list of like YouTube approved words and not which ones will get you demonetized and which ones will be a real problem for you. So I mean, I could
I'm
probably
going
try and
to
find that.
ignore that and wait until I have a problem.
Yeah, that is well, that's kind of proved to be effective. And honestly, I don't think it's that big of a deal in general.
Yeah, fair enough. But anyway, that same guy that I was talking about on the show, he was also saying that doing like more than one exercise for a given muscle group is kind of just overdoing it. So like if you do like trying to think of an example, like if because usually like in my gym routine, for example, on like the first leg day I have like 5 exercises that work like quads. So
Mhm.
really you only need to do one really good
Right.
one, and that's fine.
I
So
agree
my
with
leg
that.
day, if I kept up with my like regular split, my leg day would be like 3 exercises really.
I actually agree with that a lot. I've been doing that, and especially like, well, I guess in general, I've been doing that now. When it comes to what is it like curls, I will alternate like the curls I'm doing during the set between like the standard curls and like the hammer curls. I do like kind of a split within the set. Like I'll do like one up for the regular, one up for the hammer, one regular, one hammer,
Okay, I see what you mean. So like alternating in one set.
and I think it works it fine. I mean, I've found like as long as you're using the right weight and right number of set or right number of reps, you're actually fine with that. I've found at least for myself. I don't know if it would affect you or anything, but personally, I haven't seen anything negative with that.
Yeah. I mean, this kind of works out too because I'd been getting deep into the nutrition thing, partially from your uh thing, and also because I was looking in the gym stuff and I kind of fell into it. And because nutrition is so uh interwoven with like fitness, you kind of get to the question, oh, what's actually ideal to be doing your workout? And it got to the point where I was doing my original split that I've been doing for a while was uh 2 leg days. So on Monday's a leg day, then I do a push pull for the next 2 days, then another leg day, and then by that point it's Thursday. So Friday, Saturday, I'd repeat the upper body days, and then Sunday would be the rest day. And while I could do it, and it wasn't like killing me, can I say that?
I don't know, man. Just go
This is
ahead.
so stupid, man.
Just go ahead.
It
Fuck
wasn't
it.
killing me, but after a while, it's like this is a lot. Because I mean, it's not just the workout; it's also putting out time of my day to actually go ahead and do it. And I
Mm-hmm.
mean, I'm not a very busy person to begin with, but I
Yeah.
still felt like shit. I got to do this now. Now I can't do X, Y, and Z thing because I don't know. Maybe it's time sensitive. Maybe I just don't feel like doing it now. Maybe that's because I was so tired from doing 6 days of workouts all the time. I don't know. So I
Right.
started getting into this like nutrition thing. So I figured this really can't be ideal because like it seems like it's a bit overkill.
Mm-hmm.
And I started listening to that one buddy of ours. I was saying, you only need like 1 day of full body. That seemed a bit too little to
Mm-hmm.
me.
Well,
I mean,
see, the
granted,
thing
I
is, he
haven't.
talks about that for weights, but then he'll do things like he said the other activities he could do are like boxing and swimming. Aside from that, so his thing is like just don't be sedentary, be physically active, and I guess like don't push it when it comes to weights.
Right. That
Like live an
makes a
active
lot more sense,
lifestyle,
actually.
right? Live an active lifestyle, but the weight shouldn't be your primary focus.
Yeah, that's not what I'm doing.
That's what he's
And
saying
also,
is basically his ideal way of maintaining fitness.
I don't know, man. I mean, he's in shape too. So, I mean,
Yeah.
if that's what he's doing, I mean, it's clearly working. But the thing is, I don't really have interest in anything other than that, really.
Yeah.
I don't really care for boxing or swimming or anything like that. I'm not in like any like group sports thing or like that. So I'm pretty much just doing either uh cardio, which I will not do,
Mm-hmm.
weightlifting or calisthenics.
It's not
And I
good
don't
to
really do
like
much calisthenics either, so
as far as cardio, it's not good to be like running excessively. It's pretty easy to do that if you're I used to run like multiple miles and honestly I felt okay, but I think it was stunting my ability to build muscle. I think
you can tell
it,
too, because like people that do it professionally, they lean the fuck out. They don't really have a lot of muscle.
right. And so yeah, well I wasn't necessarily like it wasn't catastrophic to me because I would do like generally like, a couple miles here, a couple miles there every week. Like I would probably run like maybe somewhere between 4 and like 7 miles a week, somewhere around there. But I
Oh, I
wasn't
thought you
doing
said per
I wasn't
day.
doing like
Jesus.
no, nothing like that. See, if I did that, I'd just be anemic or something. I'd just be dying. No, I wasn't like, I was just doing like 4 to 7 miles a week. It was nothing crazy though. I feel like if I were to maintain that, doing that on a treadmill, it probably still wouldn't be good for my knees.
Yeah, I hate treadmills.
But I think like I've been more outside, like walking, doing like, walks on big patches of grass areas like that, barefoot, like during the day, like morning, midday, sunset. Like I've been doing that. Sometimes I'll like run a little bit, like I'll do a quick sprint and then just stop and like keep walking. Like if I just really feel like I want some cardio, like I'll just kind of do a couple sprints maybe, like, and then push myself a little bit when it comes to the cardiovascular system. I know we have a friend who said you could just do burpees and that'll work your cardiovascular system just fine. So if you really want to, you could do some of those. And you don't really have to do anything on the treadmill. I mean, aside from if you really want to walk and it's like nighttime and you don't really want to go out.
Pussy.
Sometimes it gets cold outside.
Listen.
You shouldn't say pussy to that because that actually does affect you negatively. If you're getting too cold, that's not good for your metabolic system.
Fine, I'll concede on that. But anyway, what I was gonna say is I never have the desire to do cardio, like ever, pretty much. Well, okay, that's not actually true. When I was doing like my weird transition state into actually doing like, hold on. I knew that was gonna happen too. When I was doing my weird metamorphic state from doing nothing to being physically active, I was there would be days where I wouldn't feel like going out. I also had the horrible diet, so that was also not helping. Didn't feel like going out, going to the gym or doing something. And then like maybe 2 days after that, I'd be like, okay, shit, I need to do something because I'd feel awful for not doing something. But right now, that's not really a thing. And what I used to do before I got into weightlifting is, I don't know if I brought this up on the show before, but I used to live like near like a nature preserve thing, like right across the street from it. So I just walk like depending on up, and I used to get up like at a reasonable time before. Now I don't. So even if I did live still there, I can't really do it. But usually what I do is I'd get up, I'd have like a small breakfast, and then I'd walk out around 11 and walk for like, recently my record has been like 5 miles forward and then 5 miles back, so 10 miles total for like 3 hours. But usually it was something like maybe 2.5 miles forward and then back. So about 5 miles actually. And then like in the hot sun. And I wouldn't really be running. I'd have like maybe a portion of the walk because I'm familiar with it at this point where I'm like, okay, for this whole portion, I'll run and that'll be like extra cardio. But I mean, I know cardio is supposed to be rough, but in the hot sun, and I was running for like a good 15 minutes, it was not good. It hurt. So after a while, I just kind of figured, yeah, I'm not doing that. I'm just going to walk. And I felt fine. Like I was sweating a lot, which is fine. I don't really care about that. I like the hot sun here. I kind of like doxes us which state we're in, but I mean, that's not really a point. But anyway, that alone was enough for me to feel, this is good for like cardio and all that. And I wasn't doing any weightlifting. So, I mean, that obviously wasn't taken into account. But that alone, I felt was enough. I didn't really feel like going swimming unless it was like hot. And even then, I didn't really have access to a pool at that point anyway. Or like running intensely, like strictly running or anything like that. And then I did like basketball for once when I found some people that actually wanted to play. And one day of that, it's annihilated me.
Basketball.
Yeah.
Will Smith. Shooting some b-ball outside of the school when a couple of guys who were up to no good started making trouble in my neighborhood.
I'm so disconnected from pop culture that I was struggling to figure out how that was connected to Will Smith.
Bruh. Anyway, well, it is a kind of show where there's a certain type of cast, I don't know. That's all I'm going to say.
One would call them basketball people.
Well, I mean, he literally in the intro talks about shooting some b-ball outside of the school. I mean, what do you want me to say? He's a basketball person. He's a basketball person, American. Yeah. A basketball American, if you will. I mean, he lives in America. He's from Philly. Come on, in the show.
That's true.
He's playing basketball. I mean, what do you want me to say?
But yeah, so I've been experimenting with that, a full body workout. He mentioned like 3 to 5 times a day. If I'm doing full body workouts, it's probably going to be closer to 3. So I've already done that. This was the third day. It's not too bad. I think I just didn't eat enough today in particular. That's why I was feeling like really awful. But the other 2 days, it wasn't too bad. Aside from the fact that I had gone like a full week, no, like 2 weeks without going to the gym, because 1 week I was sick. Then another week I was why didn't I go that week? Oh, I think I just wasn't in the mood. And on top of that, I was relying on seeing if another buddy wanted to do it. And by the time like he would answer or just wouldn't answer, I'd be like, well, it's already 9 p.m. I don't really feel like leaving the house now, so I'm just not going to do it. And then on top of that, I'm come to the conclusion that working out, while essential, like being in like fit and like doing stuff, if you eat right, it's really not the end of the world if you don't do it that often. And I was eating right, so
Interesting.
I didn't really care.
How about this? How about this on for size? Try this on for size. How about you get a little bit of this? So, the friend I have, he's a good friend from the ages, from the ages of mine, from the way back. I mean, I guess you could put it that way. And so we have this common guy we know, right? This has nothing to do with anything we were talking about, but it's an interesting tidbit of knowledge for you. Apparently we went to high school with this guy, and he was kind of like a nerdy guy. No. I'm saying me and this other guy.
Wait, when you said a mutual, do I know this guy?
I'm talking about the guy, the guy that we both went to high school with. The other guy I'm talking about, I'm talking about the mutual buddy that we, well, not mutual buddy, but the guy we both met, like, the other week, or on our excursion.
Oh,
this friend,
the 2-second blackout guy.
The 2-second, what? 2 second? He only blacks out for 2 seconds?
No, for effect, but yeah, more like
I see
20 minutes. But yeah,
20-minute blackout guy. Yes, him and I know this other fellow, because 20-minute blackout guy and I are from the same high school. So we both know a guy who's this nerdy fellow that was like a band kid, and so basically we both live like near him. We both live near him, and so the thing is, especially those two, they live near each other. But the point being, this is why he still knows about this. That guy, I think this was like a couple of years back, he started going out with a they them. One of those people.
Like they were just using the terms, or they.
Well, I think it was a name that this person was this person was also using, and a haircut. I think that might have been about it. I don't know, but let me tell you. What do you think the effects are of dating a they them for just a few years? Just a few years. Let's say a few years. Let's say. What do you think the results would be today for this fellow? Without breaking TOS.
I think he would have a very nice life and be glad he had that experience, but knowing it wasn't for him necessarily.
He would have a jolly life. Ho ho ho.
Merry Christmas, sir, please.
Kick this naughty Grinch off the sleigh. Yeah. So anyway, point being, this man now claims he is not a man anymore. After dating a they them, he has now become a woman. Not even like a convincing one. I mean, this is like a guy that just kind of grew out his hair and wears a dress now, but he's like a big, tall, fat guy. I'm serious.
Why are they always fat? Have you noticed that?
Well, they're not always fat, but like the ones that you can tell are obviously going to just be bigger.
I've usually encountered them as fat guys.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think that might be the most common ones.
Fair.
Now, see, you remember? Don't you remember the one that we saw that was not a fat guy that like got really pissed off at us?
Oh yeah,
that was from far away. That one doesn't. No, you can tell from up close. You can tell from up close easily. From far away, you may not notice. You may not notice this person walking by, but as this person comes up close, you can tell. There's something
when this
going
person
on here.
This person started talking. That's when I was like, "Whoa, wait, what?"
No, it was
I woke up like out of a trance.
Oh, out of a trance?
Listen, you can't give him all the words.
Yeah, I guess not. Maybe I should tell that story too. So we have this this other buddy who hails from Russia, the great domain of Russia, and so he he has some unfit. What
do you think we could tame him enough to be on here?
He would be a fine guest, in my opinion. Now he has some less saying. He has some less favorable views of Ukraine and the Ukrainian people, and he, to say the least. So basically, the story goes he was walking away from us after we were having this group conversation, and he tells this other buddy of his, those Ukrainians, them Ukrainians, there's some, well, how do I put this? There's some figs, right? there's some figs, and I think they need to be removed from the fig box, right? So to speak. And so
I like how you say that like a Southern man. Them figs. Let me tell you.
Yeah. No.
When this guy is like the thickest, well, not the thickest, but a pretty thick Russian accent.
Pretty thick Russian accent. Yeah. I hate those figs, man. They're just terrible people. I think they should
Ukrainian figs.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, anyway, this is what he said about them. A similar thing. And maybe if my memory doesn't serve me correct, this isn't exactly how he phrased it. Maybe it may have been slightly different, maybe a vowel here or there. But so this fellow, this how do I put it? This ginger. And no, I seriously mean a ginger. I seriously mean a ginger. Like this fellow, this I don't know what to give this person's name here. We'll just say the ginger.
We never got a name.
The ginger, right? I don't know, but the ginger that in question, the one that we were talking about, that maybe looks convincing from far away, possibly, comes up to us and says, well, is this guy associated with you? Because he was saying that Ukrainians are figs, and they need to be stored in a non-cool environment. And so basically you should disassociate with this man. I expect some sort of outcome from this, because this is not polite behavior. And
you're telling the story like those videos of like rap battles where you get like a really like grammatically correct person saying something like, yes, I am from a part of the suburbs that is not very well, and I must inform you that your mother has had relations with me. Like that's the way it's coming off.
Well, so this is the point. This ginger doesn't like that. And again, I mean ginger. Like, this person has ginger hair. I don't mean anything else by that. Don't take me
red hair, freckles, pale skin.
Right. Yeah. Okay. Tells me, I'm looking for something. Anyway, pause. I'm looking for some sort of outcome, pause again, from this situation. I need some assurance that this man will be dealt with. And I say, well, he's just saying what he says. I don't know what to tell you. We have no clue. We have no clue what he said. We cannot be sure. We cannot be sure what this man said, but we will look into it. Okay. And so the ginger walks away, and then I forgot what it was. I think it was one of our buddies. He coughed, and I forgot what he said. Do you remember what he said? He just went like,
I don't remember.
Something. And then,
well, he's the kind of guy where he wouldn't go like super extreme with what he said, right. But it was something that did not sit well with the red hair person.
Well, it got the ginger to turn around and say, what was that? And he just said, disavow. And the ginger walked away, never to be seen again, except for that one time. I'm pretty sure I saw that fellow walking around one time. But aside from that, never to be seen again by us.
What is it with that disavow thing, by the way?
I mean, it's a disassociation from something that is impolite or unsavory.
See, was he disavowing from his own statement? Because that doesn't really make sense.
Maybe he was saying he disavows what the guy said about the figs.
I mean, yeah, but that was kind of already established.
I'm not exactly sure. I think he was just trying to get the person to back off from the situation. So he just used the term to get this individual to not even. I don't think that individual processed what our friend said anyway. So I don't really. I don't
think that individual
was properly processed.
Yeah, it was not heard properly. I don't think.
Either that or just not understood what he meant by it.
This is a kind of individual that I feel like if you said anything, they would immediately get like, well, are you saying this about me type thing? So,
Right.
like, even if we said something like, "Well, how was that game the other day, Bill?" They'd be like, "What was that?" So, but he did. It just so happened that he did say something that was kind of humorous. I don't remember what it was though.
Yeah. No, he said something that was kind of funny. It made us like stand there, and I was holding back my laughter a bit just because I was like, I just want this person to go away, so I'm not going to try and burst out laughing. But I would like to laugh right now. I would like to be in laughter at this moment, and it was honestly, he was at his peak when he did that. I looked at him and I was kind of proud. I was kind of proud.
That's true.
I felt
He's come a
most
long
proud
way.
of him probably at that moment than any. That's all I can say on it. Now,
We should have him on the show.
yeah, no, eventually. But point here being, if you're going to do it, why don't you at least make it look convincing, or at least, understand that, like, if you were to do it, would you actually look convincing? Like, shouldn't you try to do that if you're, or at least acknowledge, like, maybe like, okay, well, if I'm going to do it anyway, shouldn't I at least like know whether I would like look like like somewhat resemble a woman? Like, instead of just going, well, I look nothing like a woman, I'm this fat guy. But how about I slap on a wig or grow my hair or like put on a dress and not even shave my chest? How about I do that? That works too. How about you ask your friends and family? How about you tell them? How about you say, would I look like a woman to you if I
Yeah, because
tried?
I mean, you ask advice about everything else. Like, hey, does this watch look good on me? Or hey, does this cologne smell good? I'm going out with the buddies. Like just simple things like that. Why would you not ask advice on that?
Think about it. Will you ever go out into public and not be stared at in the manner that people think like, damn, that's kind of weird?
I mean, you are like assuming that, damn, like walking on like piles of eggshells right now. I have an answer to this. I just don't know if I could say it. But what I'm saying, I guess I could phrase it in a way where it's like, so the concept of this thing is that it is based on a mental disconnect from reality, which they call dysmorphia. All right? That's just what the doctors say. Don't take that, okay? So, given that there's a disconnect from reality, you can't necessarily assume a rational train of thought when jumping into this situation.
Right.
So like the idea of like, would I look like this as convincing isn't really anything that comes across their mind, I'd assume.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know. Have you heard the Biden copy pasta where it's kind of like the AI edit him and he's like, you will never be happy. Yeah, well, I'm not going to say the whole thing. There's some
I was really you started sounding like you're going to say it and I was like, "Oh, please don't."
I really can't say it. That's all. That's like probably the one line I could say from it. That's probably, I really want to say more, but I can't.
I remember our one buddy, the one buddy in question that we were just talking about that said something under his breath, like as a cough. You sent that somewhere in like a group chat or whatever, and he was like, "Wow, that was dark."
I thought he was the one that sent it originally.
No.
Like months ago.
I think I sent it.
Really? Oh, were you?
Yeah, it was in the other chat, not the one that we.
Yeah, I wouldn't necessarily expect him to send something like that, though. I kind of thought like maybe it was him. I don't know. I mean,
I sent it because I wanted a reaction, not because I support it.
I don't see why he wouldn't agree. This guy wouldn't agree with the statements made there. I don't necessarily know what the disconnect would be. Now, point being, I wanted to show this guy, the 20-minute blackout guy. I wanted to show him this video, and we were sitting at a bar, right? And I was like, well, how am I gonna get this to him? How am I gonna convey this information? I want to show him the whole thing. So I had to look it up. I had to find it. I tried looking through Discord everywhere. I found it on Twitter pretty quick. All I had to do was search it up on Twitter, and it popped up right away. Like I tried everywhere on the internet, didn't work. Twitter, just right away. Great. I love it. So I play it at the bar, like while, out loud for him, not too loud, but I put it up to our ears. And, the bartender's kind of looking over like, what the hell are they listening to? But, it was for the most part hidden because the music in the bar is playing. But, there were certain points where the music would just go from one song to the other. And there was like this one point, and I think that might've been the "You Will Never Be Happy" like part where it just like plays out as soon as the music fades away. And I was like, oh yeah, I should probably turn this down because we don't know what's going to happen right now. I think it might have been the "you will buy" part. I don't want to say more than that. You will buy something and use it. Okay. I'm just all I'm saying is that part was like hilarious too, and I just let him listen to the whole thing, and he's like, Jesus, that was like something. Like he loved it, but he was just like, wow, that is far darker than I expected it to be.
It is. It
And
really is.
Honestly, first time for me as well. It was. It was. I had that same reaction first time I listened to it, but it's so funny because it's so true. It's just look. I'm not saying I agree with it or I disagree with it. All I'm saying is every word in that is honest. That's all I'm saying. It's purely honest. If you can't tell me, like, actually just disprove one of the points in there to me, just any point, pick a point, tell me why you disagree with it, give me evidence for why it's wrong, and fine, I'll hear you out. So put something in the comments, or something like that. Just do that, and we'll read them out if you decide to. If you really decide to, we'll eventually get to reading those out.
I remember when I first saw that video, I took like a minute of just like wide eye, just staring into the abyss, like, wow, that's a thing. Then I sent it.
Mm-hmm. Right. Yeah, I mean that's how it goes.
Yep.
That's pretty much every online video, especially those live leak ones. They're just like, wow, somebody really passed in this video. Somebody really got mortally injured, or like mutilated, something like that. And it's like, you know what? I'm gonna send it out.
That actually happened just this past week. It was on Twitter, unfortunately, or I guess neutrally. It doesn't really make a difference where it is.
Well, was there like gore, or was it just kind of like one of those?
Yeah, it was one of those things where I was like, oh, wow, I just watched somebody probably die.
Probably.
I'm not going to be the only one to see this. So, yeah, now you guys are going to see it.
Huh.
I didn't send it to you. I sent it to another group of people. I guess I could send it to you later on.
For a second, it sounded like you were saying the viewers were going to see it.
No.
I don't think we can show that. I don't think we can show
There's a lot of context around the video that makes it very unlikely I will share it. I don't even know how I'd share with the viewers.
Maybe there's some sort of search terms you could give them.
No,
nothing.
It's like I if I didn't have the link, I wouldn't even be able to know how to find it again.
I see. That's nice. That really
I mean,
nice.
Twitter is really just the Wild West where you can just, you could be like on a mainstream Twitter where, you're scrolling past, some Hollywood person saying something stupid, or latest YouTube drama, or I don't know, something about Elon Musk. Then you can get to like niche Twitter. You get to like Black Twitter, or like I don't know, music Twitter, something like that. And then every now and then, and I don't even use Twitter. This is the weirdest thing too. I don't use Twitter. I have an account. I don't like anything. I don't comment on anything. I don't post anything or anything like that, or engage in any kind of content whatsoever. And every now and then I'll get something completely out of left field, and I'll look at it, obviously, because I'm like, oh, what the hell is this? Because it's like intriguing that it's in my feed. And then after I finish watching it, I'm like, oh my God, what? I'm like dumbfounded. So it's really almost like, if you ever use iFunny, it's kind of like that, where you don't really know what you're going to get, but it could be something really nice and wholesome, or it could be something that you never thought of even being a thing in reality. And now you know, because you stumbled upon it. And that was my experience with that video that you will see later. Not you, the audience, but
I will see it.
But I mean, if we want to tie this, go on.
No. You how are we going to tie this together? What are we doing? What are we tying in?
I was going to go back to the New Year's resolutions, to be honest.
Okay. Let's see. Let's see what you got.
All right. Because mine was pretty vague, and you kind of took up all the time, by the way. Well, I mean, not all the time. You took the spotlight, essentially. To add to the no beer, and what was the other one? I don't even remember. Get drunk without the hangover. That was one of them. There's like another one, though.
Damn, dude. Another fat bitch liked me on Bumble. I'm just looking here. I saw it, and I'm like, let me see this. Another, just obese, bro. I'm serious. Obese.
Yo,
like, I'm not even kidding.
Bro. Do you have like a picture of you with like a cheeseburger or something?
No. That's that's a good why would I have that, like but
I would.
good question.
I don't have a lot of pictures of myself, so whenever I'm doing that, I'm like frantically searching for any photos I have of
Uh-huh.
anything with me. And one of the photos was the last time before this last time where we were at Buffalo Wild Wings, and your acquaintance took a picture of all of us at the table, and I was
Yeah.
mid biting a burger, and I was like, well, shit. I mean, the shirt looks good, but I'm
Yeah.
like mid chew of a cheeseburger. So
Hey, well, it's a social activity. You're out with people. It's fine. It's not that bad. And I don't think women mind watching you eat.
why?
Well, it's sort of a thing where like women are kind of like self-conscious about it, where they're all like, oh my God, like I don't want to like look like I'm fat or something eating all this food. But guys, it's kind of like, you're just, I don't really think there's an expectation there from anybody that it's kind of like, oh, it's weird to see a dude eat.
If anything, I think it'd be the other way around, where if
Really?
you're like eating like not a lot, then it's like, what are you doing? You're a guy.
Oh, no, no, no. Yeah, actually, you do have a good point. Because if you're like getting a salad, you remember that Seinfeld episode where Jerry didn't want to eat
Yo.
meat, and he was like, I think I'll just have a salad. And it's like she thought he was gay because he only got a salad.
Yo, that's real though. It's real.
Dude, okay. Well, you have a point. Actually, you do make a good point with that. That is true. So like women are kind of expected to like, well, I don't know how much that's true because like honestly, I don't really hear guys saying like, oh, she's eating. That's gross. But like I think there might like women are at least
Incels.
I think women might impose that more on themselves. Like if anything, like it's sort of
I
like
mean,
a sort
they
of
do
thing.
get the eating disorders more than men. I'm pretty sure.
I think it's more
So
of a thing where they're like, oh my God, I look fat doing this. I will not do it. Guys are almost just looked at as sort of like they already have this expectation of like, well, you're a guy. Why are you eating a salad? So I think that might
I
be
used to tell my
how we
mom
split it
that.
here. Huh?
I used to tell my mom that as a wee lad.
What?
Like we'd go to like I don't know, any kind of chain restaurant, and she'd get a salad, and I'm like, what are you doing? Why did you choose this place specifically to get food? And then you decided to get the most mundane, nutrient deficient
Yeah.
at that too. Uh Tasteless, bland piece of garbage served to you for an overpriced uh price tag, I guess. Like
I see.
what are you doing? Name one time ever where even before you're on the whole like base diet thing where you're
Mhm.
like, damn, I want a salad.
Yeah. Well, you were kind of like sometimes giving them at restaurants, so you'd like eat them. You know.
Right. Like as a side dish, that's
Yeah.
fine. Like at the
Well,
times like,
sometimes
ah,
like
you know
like if
what?
it's like Olive Garden, it's like a starter where they'll like give it to you before the food.
See, even then though, it's drowned in dressing because lettuce tastes like shit.
Yeah. Well, just the other day, my dad ordered a Caesar salad, and then he was just kind of like, "What is this?" Like it was like it's lettuce, croutons, and dressing. And he's just kind of like, "What did I get?" He didn't even like it.
Post salad clarity.
Yeah, for real. I mean, he's like, maybe I should have just gotten the house salad or something. Like, but he still was thinking about salad. I don't know why, but he was just kind of like, "What the hell is this?" Like, it was mostly lettuce, and he didn't like it. He's like, "Why would I get this?"
Why would anybody enjoy
Yeah.
this?
Because he was like, at least give me some other things within it and give me some variety. At least then I would feel like I'm not just eating lettuce.
See, like usually what they do is they'll have a salad, so it's like the bed is lettuce,
Mm-hmm.
but then you'll have like they'll have like a theme to it, like Asian style or like Southwest style or something like that. Like Chick-fil-A does this, where they have
Yeah.
like I used to eat the salads at Chick-fil-A
Yeah, me
because
too. Actually, I was just gonna mention that. I was thinking about it, dude. The what is it? It's like the spicy Southwest or something with the
they have
avocado
that.
lime ranch. Man,
I
which is
usually
not
got
good. It's not good because it's got
no.
like soybean oil is like one of the first ingredients. But I used to douse the salad in like avocado lime ranch. I used to love that stuff. I
See,
would just like put it all over the salad. I would take out the grape tomatoes though. Fuck those things.
you didn't like grape tomatoes?
No, fuck them, man. I did not like them. They tasted like I didn't like the taste. I didn't like I didn't like anything about them.
I mean, they don't taste great, but I wasn't bothered enough by them to take them out. But anyway, this
I've
goes
never
to my
really
point.
liked tomatoes by themselves.
Even outside of the nutrition argument, whenever you have a salad, what do? You fucking douse that shit in
Mm-hmm.
dressing so that you can swallow it. It's you
Pause.
can't eat it by itself. It's I'm willing to bet there's probably like a biological thing to it where like eating dry lettuce and nothing else but
Yeah.
that is just so like repulsive to the healthy human being.
Right. So I mean, yeah,
I
just
was gonna
probably
say
anything
though,
about like dry greens, uncooked, to like, I think that might
yeah,
probably just be a food that people don't generally actually want to eat. Like they have to force themselves at first if they want to start doing it.
I mean, think about it. There's a whole campaign in the West of, oh well, we're getting fat, so you got to start eating salads.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody would
Right.
be eating salads like the at the rate they are now if it wasn't for that kind of shit. Oh, they're good for you, so eat it, even though it tastes like shit, and you're probably gonna douse it in like corn syrup anyway.
Right. And also like, well, I mean, we could have a conversation if we really wanted to talk about like all the diet stuff, but, uh,
We should probably do like a
fat.
full episode on that actually.
Yeah, like fat was something that was targeted, even though like it's like technically like we could also go into that. Like I found like if anything, you're not supposed to really eat a high fat diet if you have high carbs in your diet. That is true even with saturated fat. That you shouldn't be eating like a fuck ton of it if you're eating like a lot of sugar as well. But
Really?
uh the solution to that, if you were to like let's say like because I've been looking into like more Ray Peat stuff, and like what I found with it was like well what somebody was writing about him is that when he was like in his early ages, like working hard and stuff, he would drink like a gallon of milk like a day pretty much, like or something like that. But it was like whole milk. But then when he got like older and more sedentary, he actually started drinking like skim milk. But that would just be like milk fat removed. That wouldn't be like adding like all these preservatives and stuff in the actual milk, like, crazing over like these like low fat foods that are very like much so like it's like, oh, it's low fat, but it like has all this garbage in it. Like it was pretty much just still the
Right.
same foods he was eating, just less fat. It was not changing it to these like processed foods still, like, like those are still a problem even if they say low fat on them. So I
I
mean,
like fat though, so
you say what?
I like fat.
Yeah, no, fat is good. It's just, I mean, I've been trying to limit it a little bit more. I think I've been feeling better. Like I felt kind of like I drank milk and ate yogurt for breakfast both today and yesterday. Today was
That's a bit
better.
overkill.
I know today was better. Yesterday was kind of like I was like, no, I need to stop because I didn't feel that hungry. Like after that, I'm like I feel a little bloated, and so now I'm just
Because
kind of like, okay,
dairy's it's super filling, so
yeah. I think I mean we could go on all this later. You had to talk about your resolution, so I'll just drop it here. We can talk about this for a while another time.
we could. um yeah. I don't know. To be honest, I kind of forgot what I was gonna go off with that. But I'll start a new one, I guess. So no beer. At least once, because drunken behavior is quite literally haram. I'm not a Muslim, but
Wait, so
you
you're
know,
giving yourself a pass? You're saying one pass?
yeah, I'm gonna. Well, it's more than likely gonna be more than one pass. Of being honest, but I want to see just really to see if I can do it. Get blasted without the repercussions, and I've gotten better. Like I've had reduced repercussions, but not completely eliminated repercussions.
Well, the thing is, the grain alcohols are like what have done it for me. Like have like done negatively. I mean, speaking like to me, I think those have been the worst thing out of anything, and the reason that I've had any sort of like headaches or anything like that.
So you're saying I shouldn't have had the corona and I would have been fine?
You probably would have been better. I would not argue against that. I don't know how much it actually did it for you. It might have been just a somewhat of a difference. If you had anything really bad, then I would say there was something else.
That was so bad, man. It tasted like shit. Anyway, um, yeah. So I'll be experimenting with that. We probably should have ate beforehand. That was also another factor that usually is in play, but just wasn't
Right.
at that time. So, because we weren't drinking more than we usually were, I don't think it was the fact that we were drinking that. Well, you guys are probably ahead of me by a lot, which makes it even more of a wonder how you in particular weren't as gone as we were. But anyway,
I was not as gone as you were. I didn't have effects the next day. I didn't even really eat that heavy before I left home.
yeah, I don't understand how that.
Miracle.
Well, you drink more regularly than me, I think.
I not anymore. I have stopped for the most part. Like I'll have like some ciders here and there, but I'm for the most part not really. I mean, I do have that third of a shot a day now because that's just how it goes, man.
Why can't bars have cider, man? That would kind of solve all the issues.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah. So I think if we had eaten at the usual place we go to, especially, and then had the same amount of drinks, it would have been like a normal day.
Mm.
But yeah, I was supposed to meet up with a buddy the day after, and I canceled it because I was like, shit, I don't know if I can recover that quickly.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it was pretty bad. I did recover like at the time that we were gonna meet too, but I had already called it off, so I was like, all right, whatever. But anyway, so that I kind of want to try a Sprite cranberry now. So there's that.
Huh.
Uh,
If at the latest it may have to happen like around Christmas again. I don't know if they're still selling them, are they?
yeah, I think they're seasonal. That's a problem.
Do you think they still have any? Probably on clearance now. They're probably not on
Might.
clearance, even if they're there.
Maybe. We'll have to see. Maybe I'll just find one on Amazon. Amazon has everything.
Huh.
What else? I do want to try. Well, that's kind of getting. I kind of already do though. Yeah, that's kind of whatever. Perfecting the full body thing would be another thing too, because it's not bad, but it definitely needs. Like what I did was I haven't been to the gym in a while, and I have a list of all the exercises that I do. And I didn't look at it at all. I just kind of went, okay, well, this covers that. Let me just do that. And then, like, after I was done with that, I was like, I guess I'll do this next because this covers that. So I need to, like, actually get it, like, built in because my previous split is, like, memorized already. So I don't even have to think to do it. I just do it. So I need to get this new routine like that. If I decide to continue doing it like that, I'll probably tweak it some bit. The other thing is, I don't know, growing the show, I guess.
Doing what?
Growing the show.
Growing the show. I thought you said growing the shell, and I'm like, what shell? Are you crustacean?
Ghost in the Shell? Have you ever seen that?
No, I haven't.
You like Scarlett Johansson?
Well, I like the way her body looks.
You'll like that movie.
Yeah, well, there you go.
It is very weird, though.
The more you know.
Oh, I could actually talk about this. I completely forgot about this. So I'm at home with my parents for the holidays, and I'll leave it like that for now. And during this time, we decided to do some like activities, like going out to eat and stuff like that. And one day, and for context, I used to be a big like movie kind of guy. I've since abandoned that because I found out that most movies, whether they're mainstream or underground, are usually shit. And you'll have to find gems.
Right.
That being said, I love John Wick, but that's another story entirely. Anyway, so we're going to the movies, and we were going to eat first, but we left late. So the movie we were going to see, it had already started, and by the time we finished eating, it would have been like into the movie already. So we had to decide either we go to that movie or we eat first and see another movie that I decided I did not like at all. It was one of those American Godzilla films. Now, to clarify, the Japanese know how to make Godzilla films. The Americans do fucking not. They are horrible. Holy shit. Like, it was so bad where we were at the restaurant that we were eating at, and my mother and sister and other people there were like, hey, we could see this, or we could see what else is rare. And whatever else they recommended, I was like, yeah, let's do it. I don't care. As long as it's not that. Let's just go see that. So, unfortunately, that was a very bad decision on my part. So, what happened was... Huh?
Even worse than the Godzilla.
Yeah. Definitely.
Okay.
So, I saw the director, and this was a director that I previously liked. However, what I should have taken into account is that my taste in movies used to be a lot... it's funny too, because like art snobs, they like to pretend like their stuff is underground, but it's really not. It's just not mainstream, which is different.
Yeah.
So it's like art film type shit, basically. And every now and then, like his movies are weird, but they're not like... There's like a grasp of reality still, usually. So it's like, it's not like a fantasy film. It's almost like reality, but there's one thing off to a point where it's like, wow, that's wacky. What the hell?
You want to name drop the movie? Or?
Yeah. It's called Poor Things. With,
that sounds pretentious.
Emma Stone. Yeah, it is.
I can already tell.
So we get to the movie theater, and we're sitting down waiting. Yeah, I'll have to talk about that part later, I guess. we sit down. The movie finally starts after the ads, and first thing I notice is the weird, like opening credits. And I was like, okay, well, this is gonna be a weird film, so I guess I'm stuck here. We already picked it. Let's go. And then I notice it's in black and white, and then I'm like, ah, shit. Well, this is already getting to new levels of pretension. So let's just hope it's not too crazy. And basically, I actually read the synopsis afterwards too, but the plot is in like 18th century London, like Victorian era. I guess it's 19th century, the Victorian era London, but it's steampunk and semi mythological or fantastical, I should say, where you have like weird like animals of like a bulldog head, but it's like a bird body, stuff like that. It's weird. So it's all in black and white. You have Willem Dafoe. I'm assuming you know who that is.
What? So they have Willem Dafoe in this?
Willem Dafoe does a lot of weird movies.
Really?
Yeah. Outside of
No, I've seen
Spider-Man, I'm
Dripped
pretty
Out.
sure. Hey, that was Drip too.
Yeah. He was drippy.
I think, yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna get off topic if I keep talking about that. But anyway, he's in this movie because he's in a lot of these weird art films. But he's playing. It was actually really funny at first. 'Cause he's playing like a surgeon in this era, and he'd sit at this table where he'd be connected to like this like gas pump thing, and every now and then he would like make the funniest sound and like vomit up a bubble to the point where like people in the theater were laughing. I don't know if that was like purposely meant to be comedic. I don't know how it couldn't be, but I don't know. It was really great. And the plot is around a woman in the beginning jumps off a bridge and kills herself. And later on in the film, this is revealed. Willem Dafoe's character finds her body and finds that she's also pregnant. So she killed herself, but she's also pregnant with, I'm assuming, I guess the baby was still alive. Because like he found her body like right after she jumped. So I guess the baby wasn't dead yet. I don't know. I don't know how that works. Doesn't really matter. Anyways,
bro, it was like he was like in an escape pod. Yeah,
basically. So he takes the woman back to his like lab, I guess. I don't know what surgeons call their places where they do that, but he takes her there. Yeah, and he's like, "Oh well, I see this woman killed herself, but there's life within her." And the answer to me was obvious. And like the character, because he's like recounting this to another character, and he's like, "Well, what happened?" "Well, it's pretty obvious, bro. I just take the infant's brain out and I put it in the woman and like reanimate her."
What?
So that's not verbatim what he said, but that's basically how it was.
What do you mean that was obvious to him? Obvious to you, Willem? What the fuck are you talking about? Is this supposed to be like a twist or what?
Yeah. So when you first enter,
that he reveals this,
sort of, because when you first enter the film, you have Emma Stone, and she's playing a character of what you assume to be someone that's like mentally deficient. But then later on, you realize, oh no, she's literally just an infant in like the body of like a 30-year-old woman, which makes it very weird. And this is when I left the theater for the remainder of the film because I was like, yeah, I'm not watching this with my parents and sister here at the same time. This is not going to happen. So what happened was he had hired a student of his because he was like teaching at a university as a surgeon or whatever. And he's like, I need you to examine this specimen while I'm gone and, record her. Because he was trying to, like, get into, like, learning how an infant would learn in the body of an adult or something like that. Something like that.
Wait, so, like, question. Like, but, I mean, obviously the infant's brain is way smaller than what, the skull is. I mean, obviously it can fit in there. But, the connections between the other parts of the spine and all that, maybe it's possible, but how exactly is this portrayed? Do they show it? Does he just say it and it's implied?
They do show him removing the brain and then
is it gory?
Putting in sort of it. Oh yeah, that's the other thing. The film left nothing up to the imagination whatsoever.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
I don't like that.
Yeah. So
I kind of like when they leave it a little bit ambiguous, what exactly
I would
it
have very
looks like.
much preferred if the visuals were not there. That was kind of like where I was like, ah, shit. Well,
Is
I
that what
fucked up
made
this
you
time.
leave? Like what was it?
No. What made me leave was what happened after.
Okay.
So this guy he hired to like watch her and monitor her what she's doing and all that. And because she's in the body of a grown
Oh,
woman,
please don't tell me this is what
yeah,
it is. Please don't.
yeah, this is what's happening. Because she's in the body of a grown woman, like there's a scene where she's like throwing a tantrum when they're out, outside or whatever, because he
Uh-huh.
keeps her inside for obvious reasons. And then she sees people in the carriage out through the window of the carriage or whatever as they're leaving, and she's like, "Oh, I want to get ice cream or whatever," like something like that. And she starts freaking out. So then Willem Dafoe pulls out a chloroform napkin
Okay.
and knocks her out, so she doesn't start like opening the doors and screaming and shit. And then as like the maid like puts her on like the bed, like once they bring her home, and for whatever reason they're just really careless of nudity for whatever reason. So it was like there were so many times where I was like, why did I need to see this part of the film? You could have
Mhm.
just not done that, but you decided to anyway. But okay, whatever. Anyway, he drops her on the bed. The maid drops her on the bed or whatever, and then she wakes up. And I was thinking about this as I was watching the film. I was like, no, wait, they're not implying what I think they're implying, right? Right? And then later on, I'm revealed to be right. So you don't see anything in this scene. You just see her feet twitching and like her face, like making euphoric
Oh, God.
expressions. Yeah. And then like later on, she's like talking to like the maid or whatever. I found out how to make instant happy or whatever. So you can use your imagination to figure out what
Yeah.
that was. It was really funny too. She grabbed like the maid in an area, and the maid was like, "She touched my hairy business," which is fucking
Well,
hilarious.
what I'll say is this is still better than Cuties, but it's still not really great what they're portraying. It's not,
Oh no,
it's not a good thing that they're portraying this, but it's better than using actual children to portray these sorts of things. Like at least it's an adult as the actor. It's like it's not
yeah,
actually a baby mind in somebody doing all that. Like they're just pretending it is. It doesn't cross a certain line that you never should. So at least there's that, but it's not doing much better than that. Is all I'm gonna say.
no, it's not. And basically, the point where I walked out of the theater was when the Willem Dafoe and his student or whatever are talking, and he's like, "I see you have feelings for Bella." That's the character's name, and I'm like, "Oh no, oh no, please!" And he's like, "Well," the guy's like, "Oh no, I wouldn't. I'm just professional and all this, that, and the other." And Willem Dafoe's like, "No, I see it. I see where you're going with this." And he's got a British accent. It's kind of funny actually. Also, Willem Dafoe's got like scars on his face too, so they're kind of
Mhm.
going for like a Frankenstein kind of thing, I guess.
Yeah.
Um, oh yeah, because like apparently Willem Dafoe's father was like experimenting on him. He was like telling him about like, oh yeah, my father like stabbed my thumbs down to like a table with like nails to see how my shit my like ligaments would grow or whatever. Uh, He's just
Dude, you
casually telling
stood
a
out.
story, and everybody's like, "What the fuck?"
It's like
But
the Joker, but like worse.
yeah, he's just casually like, "Yeah, my father just decided to see what was going on," and then I was happy because I figured out that I forget what he said, but something like that. Um, so then, like as they're talking, he's like, "Oh, I would never be involved like that. I'm just your student. I'm recording this, that, and the other for the experiment." And Willem Dafoe's like, "No, I see it." And he's like, "Well, I didn't want to intrude because I wasn't sure if you had any uh uses for the experiment personally." And Willem Dafoe's like, no. Unfortunately, I have like a fatherly bond to this experiment, so I can't really do that even if I wanted to.
Look, I thought you were going to groom her first. So, I really wanted to leave it up to you to take first pickings.
Basically.
Jeez, man.
Hey, I'm
What
not
the
gonna step
hell?
on your toes, bro.
What the
If
hell
you
is
want it,
happening?
and then Willem Dafoe's like, no, but you can do it though. And
No, she's like a daughter to me. You do it.
yeah,
You have your way with her. What a fatherly thing to say.
Yeah, and he's like, yeah, you can marry her, and then you. But the only
Marry her,
thing is, you got to stay in the
how
house.
mentally is she at this point?
I th- I don't know actually, but it cannot
Even
be
an
more than like
adolescent?
2. No,
Wow.
no, she's
So she
still like
never.
struggling to
What
speak.
the hell is happening here?
It's it's not. So I'm sitting there with like my parents and my sister in the theater, and I'm like scrunching up in the seat, like, oh no, oh no,
Yeah,
what
this isn't
happened?
helping the case that Hollywood isn't full of PDF files.
That was a nice save, by the way. Um, yeah. So after that point, I was like, oh, this is literally just pedophilia at this point.
Yeah.
Um, and at first it was fine, and I was like, okay, whatever, I'll deal with it. And then they moved to a new scene where some other guy is like writing up the will of Willem Dafoe, and
What, is he going to kill himself or is he dying of old age?
no, I guess he's like supposed to be like an older character or
Okay.
whatever, and he's like trying to like make sure that like all his stuff is in order or whatever. Um,
Does he put her in his will?
I assume so, yeah.
Ownership of her goes in his will.
Hmm?
He's putting ownership of her in his will. It's like, I'm leaving her to this, my
Listen,
assistant.
I created it. It's not slavery technically.
No.
But yeah, so the guy that's like the lawyer that's like writing up his will, Willem Dafoe's reading over his will. He's like, oh, I gotta go to the bathroom, and he's like, oh, you can't hold your. He makes like a Snyder mark. Willem Dafoe's character is kind of like a dick. He's like always being like making like whenever somebody like makes like a remark, he's like got some like sly comeback or whatever. And anyway, the guy goes off to the bathroom, and I was like, oh, okay, I already know where this is going. I'm gonna leave now. And I read the synopsis later on, and I was kind of right basically. I expected the lawyer to wander around the house, find the girl, and like rape her.
Oh my God.
Which kind of did happen because
Oh my
anything like
God.
that in this movie is rape technically.
Why
because
is this
she's got
just
the mind of
happening
like
over and over?
I don't know.
What's the moral of this story?
So from what I read, what happened after I left the theater is the lawyer guy takes her to like France or whatever, or Spain, somewhere like that in Europe, and they try to live a life together, but
What?
she's like learning and he doesn't like that she's learning, so
The
he'll like
lawyer
throw away her
falls in
books
love
and
with her?
stuff like yeah.
Oh my God.
And then they at some point she leaves him, I think, and then she becomes a prostitute.
Oh no. How old is she at this point?
I don't know, man.
I'm
I'm assuming this is taking place within like a year or two at tops.
This is just terrible.
No, it's really bad.
It just keeps, every time you say something, it just gets worse. It just manages to get worse.
It's gonna get worse. So
it's worse than this. How worse can it get?
What happens is eventually she makes her way back to England, and she meets the Willem Dafoe and the other guy, and she's like, "Okay, I'll marry you" and all that. But then her original husband, the woman that killed herself, that is now the body of this infant, her original husband tracks her down somehow, finds her, and he's like, "Hey, yeah, you're my wife. Can you like marry me again?" And out of blind curiosity, she's like, "Yeah, I'll go back and marry him." And
So that's his daughter.
No, his wife.
No, the brain of his daughter.
Oh shit, yeah, that's right.
So it's now incest.
Yeah, I didn't even think about this. No, this just did get worse.
Dude, and honestly, what you should have thought about is, of course, it's going to happen, because I should have thought about this too. They're British people. They're portraying British people. It was clear this whole time why this is happening.
That's the moral of the story.
Yeah. The British people have lost God. They have nothing. They have despair. They do not know how an intelligent creator could create such monstrosities.
That's why the movie's in black and white. It signifies their utter collapse of faith and hope for anything better.
Yeah. Well, it also represents how their minds are kind of like those of animals that can only see in black and white.
Jesus Christ.
Well, clearly that's what we're seeing from this movie. I don't know. That's the only moral I can extract.
Well, after she goes with this guy, she finds out why she killed herself because the guy was like horribly abusive, which you would think somebody would think of, but I guess nobody did. So she's like, oh yeah, and the synopsis makes a point in saying, yeah, he locks her in a room, ties her up, and tries to make her mutilate herself in the downstairs region
Jesus.
for some reason. I don't know why.
What, like a female circumcision?
I guess so. And
What
by
is
the
he,
way, I left the
Muslim?
movie and my family are still watching this the entire time.
What
Once
is
they
he?
like left and met me, they're like, okay.
Did they think they should have walked out as well?
I don't actually know. They kind of gave like mixed reviews. My sister hated it. But she's kind of a moron too. So
Okay. She wouldn't get it. You have to have, to be fair, you have to have a high IQ to understand this movie.
That's what these people think like too, by the way. All those like film festivals. Oh yes, the way the pedophilia was portrayed in this way instead of the other way really gave the audience something to think about. And I'm like, please stop breathing.
This is their
But anyway,
Rick and Morty.
Pretty much. Like literally,
fair,
actually, yeah.
You have to have a high IQ to understand this. You know, it's literally the funniest thing I've ever seen. I mean, he turns himself into a pickle.
Funniest shit I've ever seen, bro.
Yeah.
So she escapes, and then she goes back to them, and then I kind of forget what the synopsis said. But anyway, that was like the spark notes of everything that went wrong, and I was like, wow, we really should have just watched Godzilla.
Yeah, honestly, I mean, I don't like how that went. I don't.
No,
you know,
I didn't either. That's why I left.
Enjoy that. Like, I get the concept, but it's not terribly executed, but like it's just, you know, it makes me want to die listening to that.
Yeah.
So, you know, the fact is, you know, for me to think about that and say, well, this kind of makes me wish, you know, like some nuke would get launched right now. You know, for that to be the case, you know, obviously you've done something wrong with the concept here. You know, maybe do the baby thing in the brain, but don't have all the, you know, like the abuse of a child. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe make a funny movie out of it. You could do like a Freaky Friday kind of thing. I don't know.
Okay, so the last movie I saw by him was a movie about. It also had Emma Stone in it. I guess he's got a thing for it. But anyway, it was a movie about
her in many different forms of interaction sexually. And this was one way that he expressed himself how he wants to see her. And it honestly, you know, infantilizing her for some reason and then making it, you know, appear to be, you know, that she has been touched. I don't know. He probably likes that. He has a thing. It's like Quentin Tarantino, except for, you know, Quentin Tarantino, at least he just like feet and calling people the N-word. That's all he did. You know, he didn't really do too much wrong.
You think at one point Emma Stone's like, hey, is this scene really necessary? And the director's like, yes.
Yeah. Well, he's like monitoring it from another room and he's just like radioing in. It's like, yes. He's got it on like 10 security cams.
Yes, now make her do this. But the last movie I saw by him was called The Favorite, and I actually liked it at the time. I don't know if I'd like it still now. I don't remember it being too bad, but it was basically like a critique of like aristocracy, I guess, in a way, where they're considered all this, that, and the other, but they're having like all of them are having an affair with like a maid who's Emma Stone or whatever, and it was played.
Just making it obvious.
Like it was like men and women too, so that was also another thing.
Yeah,
kind of like
he's making it obvious.
Yeah, he is making it obvious, but it was played as a comedy.
Was this one long the Aristocrats joke?
I guess so. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, the movie was played as a comedy, so it worked. But then this is like,
I'm wondering at the end, you know, did somebody ask like, "What do you call yourselves?" The Aristocrats. And then end scene.
I might need to rewatch that just to see if that's in there now.
I don't think it's actually in there, but you know, that's a.
It would be really funny if it was in there though.
Yeah, it would be.
But yeah. So the movie that I'm talking about, it kind of tried to be a comedy, but at the same time, there's so many other things that it's like, oh my god, this is horrifying. Even the like funny like Willem Dafoe bubble burp thing isn't really enough to like get rid of the fact that I'm watching something awful.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was my experience, and this is why I have come to the conclusion that there is like maybe 2% of movies made today that are good.
Right. You know, it's really not going to be a good amount of them. You know, I did not hate the FNAF movie. I'll be honest. It wasn't dog shit, you know? Like it was watchable.
I don't want to watch it.
Like it was watchable. It wasn't what I wanted. It wasn't really, you know, it's not what I think when because I'm thinking more horror. I'm not thinking like, you know, these things are actually like, you know, having a playground in the Freddy Fazbear's and doing a little play along and all that. And, you know, the villain was definitely goofy as hell. You know, I didn't even think it was like, I couldn't take it that serious.
Was it purple guy?
Well, I won't spoil it because it's not the exact lore of the games, but and I didn't even really know all that much about the lore of the games, but the guy I went to see the movie with, like, he knew everything about this franchise, so he was telling me exactly how it's different and all that, you know.
Wait, wasn't this 20-second blackout guy?
No, I saw it with a different guy. No, it's my buddy.
Because he told me he saw it too.
It's my buddy from up north, you know, on the other side of the nation.
Oh, right. I remember you guys talking about it.
Yeah. Anyway,
yeah, I feel like I need to justify my tolerance for like Hollywood action garbage. It used to be decent, but now it's kind of just so low that like the thought of seeing big monster plus a bunch of like A-list celebrities narrating what's happening when it's just a big CGI fest of nothingness made me want to blow my brains out.
Yeah.
But little did I know, there is something way worse than that. So,
dear God.
Moral of the story is, just don't go to the movies.
Yeah, well,
it's a waste of money too.
Honestly, yeah, you could just pirate it. I know you'd say no, don't do that, but you know, you can. It's fine. I think it's justified. I mean, you should at least be thinking it's justified on the fact that they're producing garbage and there's nobody really able to put them in check for doing it.
This is true.
This is really just doing our part.
I'm doing my part.
Yeah. Like if you're just not paying for most movies that you see, you're honestly doing a service to yourself and to overall the people that enjoy movies. Like, you know, if people really love the movies that they were seeing, they'd probably be more willing to go support them, you know? But
I technically don't pay for most of the movies I see because I use Netflix, which is also not a great alternative. But I don't pay for the account.
Even then, you don't have to pay for all these subscription services. You can just look it up on certain websites. Do not go to the Flixer.tv. Do not go to HD Watch TV, or I think it's HD Watch TV. I think it is. Do not go there. Don't.
HGTV.
You would never do that. I think it's HD Watch TV if I'm not mistaken.
No. I don't know these sites. I was talking about the Home and Garden TV.
I know the Flixer.tv is actually one that is, you know, for those criminals, it's really reliable for them. I mean, I've heard they've been able to watch so many shows just for free. You know, the other one, oh yeah, it is HDWatch.tv, and there are many shows as well on there, you know, to watch for free as well. And you know, the thing is as well, what was this? Let me see if I can find this one too. Because there's this one where, you know, they put a bunch of books up for free, man. Like it's like you could just like find any book you want on there pretty much. It's crazy, you know, that's evil that you'd be able to do something like this. And
I think we get the point.
No, wait, I just need to pull it up. I just need to see you know. I'm just trying to find it. Well, you know, I just have to make sure that people know what to avoid. Okay, I probably can't find it right now. But anyway, look, that book or that book website right there. Hold on. I'm really trying here. I don't know if I have it anymore. I think it's I've been looking up stuff. I've been looking up gold tooth implants.
What?
Why? Oh, I think I found the website. Yeah, so Anna's Archive, ANNAS-archive.org. Do not go there because there are so many free books on there. And, you know, even like college textbook stuff, they have it for free. That's crazy. You should be paying for your college textbooks. Okay, you should either be doing that. You know, don't even go on Amazon and buy them for a cheaper price than you would from your bookstore. Go to your college bookstore, buy the books there. Okay, that's my message for the world. And I you know, honestly, with that, I mean, I don't know. Do you have something else you wanted to talk about?
Yeah, I didn't buy my college textbooks because I didn't need them. Just don't buy your books, like at all. You don't need them.
Sometimes there were professors where like you need the book.
And yeah, they say that.
Yeah,
and then you can just ask somebody that has the book in your group chat to send a picture of the book.
Yeah, I've never had to spend a ridiculous amount for books, even when I bought them. The way they tell you is
They add up,
legitimate.
though.
Like, yeah, well, the thing is, they would give me like a $600 stipend for it, and I wouldn't even spend that much on them. Even at the time that I thought, okay, fine, I'll just buy them. I mean, then I started doing like Amazon if I couldn't find it online, but I didn't know about
You
Amazon
actually
Archive.
need your books?
Huh? No, there were times where they actually expected you to read the books. Not all the time. Sometimes
What the fuck?
there were times where they expected us to read them, and there were
I
some times
basically
where it
never-
actually mattered for like the tests.
Oh, you're one of those people that studies.
There were times where the book content literally was on the test, man. Sounded like
Notes.
Jordan Peterson for a second. You're not understanding. There were times where the book content was on the test. It was crazy, man. They had us acting
That's
like
the belly
lobsters.
of the beast, bucko.
They had us acting like lobsters.
Funny story. Another one of his movies is called The Lobster.
Was it directed by a JP?
No, I'm talking about the guy that made the awful pedophile movie.
Paul, you know.
That one was actually
Look,
kind of.
that's just what you call it. That's not even. You're not even saying the name of the film. You're just like, yeah, that awful movie. Oh, I don't even want to continue using the word. I don't know how much we can use that word, but
They probably done a lot, but basically, the premise was you either had to find a mate or you get turned into an animal after a certain age.
What?
Yeah,
You turn into a what?
an animal.
No. What was the first one?
You have to find like a wife or a husband, or you get turned into an animal.
Like, do you have to procreate?
I think so. Yeah,
Do you get turned into an animal if you haven't had sex for long enough? Like, if there's like a dry spell in the marriage, do you both get turned into animals?
No, I think once you're married, you're kind of like you're set.
Like legally married, or do you have to consummate it with sex? Like, how does this work?
I don't remember.
This is like the Buddhism of like movies right here, like, you know, where they don't explain
remember-
the reasoning behind it. It's just it happens. You reincarnate. Like, you know, there's no trace back to the beginning of life and how this began. It just happens. Okay,
They probably did explain it in the movie, but it's been like years since I saw it.
it's fair enough.
But you did get to choose the animal because he
Wait, you get to
so
choose
the Irish guy, Colin Farrell. He chose to be a lobster.
Why? Because they're like functionally immortal.
I don't know.
Like they're
don't remember.
immortal, like as far as not dying of like old age. Isn't that true of lobsters? As long as they're not eaten.
I would say I'd watch it again, but I don't want to because it was kind of a stupid premise.
Do you not know this factoid?
I was gonna say I thought it was the lobsters thing where they mate for life, but I think I'm thinking of swans.
You're thinking of voles.
Voles?
Voles, man. Voles mate for life, don't they?
The hell are voles?
Well, let's see. Contrary to popular belief, lobsters are not biologically immortal. Lobsters grow by molting, which requires considerable energy. And the larger the shell, the more energy is required. Eventually, the lobster will die from exhaustion during a molt. But older lobsters are also known to stop molting, which means the shell will eventually become damaged, infected, fall apart, causing them to die. So yeah, they do die, like, you know, without being eaten. I don't know. Where do people get this? You know, let's see. Animals that mate for life. Should I be looking that up on Google? Animals that mate for life. Huh?
Humans.
Well,
you know, if you have like multiple wives.
I thought you meant like they mate, like, you know, they stay mating for life.
You mean like consistently? Like like they're stuck in that position?
But okay, question. So like when they say mate for life, do they mean these animals choose a partner and remain with that partner, or they just continue mating with partners for life? Like, do they don't stop having sex? But if an animal stops having sex, wouldn't it just like die? Like, you know, they're not supposed to do anything other than that. They're just supposed to survive and have sex. Let's see. There are many animal species that mate and remain committed to their chosen partner for life. So that actually, I think that is mate for life is part of that. Let's see. So we have bald eagles, beavers, seahorses, mice, gibbons, gray wolves, penguins, swans, albatrosses, and gray wolves. Wolves were already mentioned.
Did you say gray wolves already?
Yeah, I don't know. This is AI. Come on. Let's see. Let me look up voles.
What the hell's a vole?
Man, come on. They're like little I don't know what you would call. Hold on. Do voles mate for life? They're like aren't they like those kind of like gopher kind of things? Hold on.
You mean a mole?
No. I'm not talking about that. Prairie vole, man. They're like a little mouse looking thing.
I have never heard of this animal.
Let's see. Prairie voles, a small rodent species, they are rodents, are monogamous, forming bonds that last long after mating, often for life, albeit a short one. They are among the few animal species that mate for life, making them a good model for understanding the biology of monogamy and mating in humans. I mean, except humans don't just do it, because, I mean, we can choose to, I hate evolutionary psychology, man. I was talking about it earlier because there's this whole like article where it was like, people like men that are bisexual are actually seen as having like more children because like, there's some sort of gene within them that causes them to want to reproduce more or something like that, something along those lines, it's similar to that.
Retarded.
Yeah, I know. Like, it's like that. It's like, oh, well, us looking at animals that mate for life help us understand more about humans. How? People can divorce. People can fucking, lose interest in their love. People can do a number of things.
Yeah, wait, what the fuck?
Like, what the hell are you talking about?
Human beings have the capability of like reasoning and understanding like complex relationships and concepts that animals literally are incapable of understanding, and we're supposed to learn from animals.
Right.
What?
Yeah, no, because they think, oh, well, we can figure out how it's biologically rooted. No.
What?
You are retarded.
What the fuck?
You are retarded. You are a retard.
Don't you feel stupid? Don't you feel silly? Yeah. Don't you feel a little ashamed?
Well, we've been going on for quite a while now. I think, this seems like one of our longer episodes. We've been. I think we might have had one longer than this one.
Import this.
Or is this like the longest one?
This is the longest one.
Okay. Well, it's been a good one, honestly. I think we have a great start to our third episode of the year, even though it's our first episode of the year in our minds. We've done well for ourselves. And this has been the podcast ever. Would you like to say your final words for this episode?
Want to spark cranberry?
Gregorius Rex.
Yeah. All right. See you guys.
See ya.